In the silence of eternity, a voice breaks through. The divine call meant only for those with purpose. Chosen one, you now stand in the center of a cosmic storm. The lies spun against you are unraveling before their eyes, and the ones who wove them are trembling under the weight of their own deception. Their phones slip in shaking hands as the truth tears apart every false story they built. The pressure crushing them is the same fire that fuels you, and what they once offered to destroy you has become the very force raising you into power they never imagined. Only months ago, they believed they held dominion over your story. The self-proclaimed gossip queen, a master manipulator in your circles, had established herself as the ultimate arbiter of information. Her talent for blending outright lies with half-truths created a toxic narrative so compelling that even those who should have known better were swayed. Her influence spread like venom through every significant connection in your life: friends, potential business partners, romantic prospects, and even spiritual communities. She crafted distorted versions of your character, presenting them with such conviction that they seemed undeniable. Yet, unbeknownst to her, the cosmos was orchestrating a grand reversal, preparing the stage for your triumphant emergence. Every lie she spread carried the seeds of its own destruction. Each attempt to sever your connections only redirected cosmic energy towards stronger, more aligned partnerships. The universe, with meticulous precision, sifted through their attacks, separating the wheat from the chaff and refining your inner circle into one of unshakable loyalty. Their resistance to your light sent a resounding signal to the divine forces that something extraordinary was manifesting through you. In what they believed would be their final victory, you felt the first crack in their facade. They had succeeded in sowing doubt in someone close to you, planting seeds of mistrust about your intentions, your morality, and your very essence. Whispers turned into phone calls, hushed meetings, and calculated exchanges designed to paint you as unworthy. But they overlooked one critical factor: the spiritual discernment of those they sought to manipulate. This discernment acted like a virus in their system of lies. Late-night conversations meant to reinforce their toxic narrative instead sparked questions. The stories didn't add up. The feelings they tried to impose felt unnatural, forced. The more this individual probed, the clearer it became that the gossip queen's agenda had little to do with truth or protection. It was about control, but she was too invested to retreat. Her identity had become so entwined with her role as your adversary that stepping back would mean confronting the emptiness of her own existence. So she doubled down, enlisting more allies in her campaign of deceit, unaware that the universe was collecting receipts with the patience of an immortal accountant. Family, when you plant a seed, you set a harvest in motion. If this message stirs your spirit, consider tapping the Super Thanks button below and giving $20, $50, or more as you feel led. Your generosity fuels our mission to spread hope and truth. As 2 Corinthians 9:6 reminds us, whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Give with expectation, not pressure. Cheerfully, not fearfully. We believe with you for open doors, renewed strength, and divine provision. If today isn't your moment to give, you are loved just the same. But if it is, plant your seed and trust for a bountiful harvest. Their campaign reached far and wide. Family members who had never met you were fed detailed accounts of your supposed danger. Childhood friends received urgent warnings about your toxic influence. Casual acquaintances offered unsolicited advice to steer clear of your energy. Every attempt to hire you was met with digital footprints, text messages, email chains, and social media posts timed with precision to sabotage your opportunities. They thought they were covering their tracks, but they were building a case against themselves. The universe was cataloging every move, ensuring the evidence would surface when the time was right. Yet your journey pressed forward with an almost supernatural resilience. Projects that should have faltered found unexpected support. Relationships they tried to fracture grew stronger, more authentic. Opportunities they sought to block transformed into even greater pathways for your success. Their every act of sabotage became rocket fuel for your ascent, as if the cosmos itself was using their malice to propel you forward. The tipping point came when their own networks began receiving what could only be described as divine feedback. People they hadn't spoken to in years reached out to the karmic mother figure, the gossip queen's enforcer, questioning the stories they had spread about you. Dreams about you became vivid and persistent, stirring unease in those who had been swayed against you. The pressure they felt was invisible but undeniable, and the foundation of their campaign began to crumble. Technology itself seemed to conspire against them. Private messages about you were mistakenly sent to the wrong recipients. Social media posts meant for a select audience reached unintended eyes. Cloud storage systems glitched, exposing their plans to those who should never have seen them. Their carefully curated composure faltered in casual conversations. When your name came up, their voices betrayed them, shifting in tone, laced with unease. The suspicious timing of their warnings, their inexplicable knowledge of private details about your life raised red flags. Minds that once accepted their lies unquestioningly began to waver. Panic rippled through their network as questions about their actions multiplied. The karmic mother, once confident in her ability to manipulate through guilt, began to lose her grip. The men she had coerced into turning against you felt betrayed, not by you, but by their own complicity in her schemes. Their circle of allies disintegrated as the fragile bonds formed through shared malice proved incapable of withstanding real pressure. Former conspirators turned on each other, pointing fingers to deflect blame, revealing the depth of their collective guilt. What began as a campaign to control your narrative spiraled into frantic damage control, with discussions shifting from character assassination to legal concerns and the looming consequences of their documented harassment. The evidence of their plot spread like wildfire through the very gossip networks they had built to destroy you. The surveillance tools they used to monitor you backfired, exposing their secret meetings and private communications. Allies, weary of their manipulation, turned their own psychological tactics against them. The visibility they had weaponized to tarnish your name became a spotlight on their deceit. A single recorded conversation, shared by someone driven by conscience or fear, unraveled years of lies in hours. The recording's revelations, words, implications, and malice, reached voices they thought they could trust, dismantling the gossip queen's persona as a concerned friend. The karmic mother's facade of protecting family interests collapsed under the weight of her exposed manipulation. The psychological toll on their network was immediate and severe. Months of upholding intricate lies led to panic attacks, sleepless nights, and paranoia. Some faced a spiritual crisis, realizing they had aligned with forces antithetical to love and truth. The gossip queen's mental state crumbled. Her identity as a master manipulator revealed as a house of cards built on quicksand. Former allies distanced themselves, their calls unanswered, their social media accounts silenced by the mounting scandal. The digital footprints they thought they had erased became undeniable proof of their systematic harassment. Your spiritual defenses grew stronger with every attack. Each lie they spread clarified your truth. Every connection they tried to sever was replaced by relationships aligned with your divine purpose. The masculine energy they manipulated to oppose you awoke to their deception, seeing not only the truth of your character, but also their own susceptibility to manipulation. The karmic mother's reign as a moral authority unraveled as family members recognized the emotional terrorism she had wielded. Support groups formed organically as victims of her manipulation shared their stories, finding healing in their collective truth. As this chapter closes, you witness the exquisite precision of cosmic justice. Their attempts at isolation, character assassination, and manipulation became their own undoing. The networks they built to harm you exposed their deceit. The psychological tactics they honed against you turned back on them with devastating force. What seemed like an assault on your mission was, in truth, a divine training ground, sharpening your discernment, deepening your trust in your instincts, and preparing you for the autonomy needed to fulfill your cosmic purpose. Their stress is not merely punishment, but a call to transformation, a pressure to break hardened hearts, dismantle oversized egos, and pave the way for genuine change. Their campaign, meant to destroy you, became an offering to the divine forces protecting you. Every lie, every hour spent plotting, every relationship they burned to stop you fueled your triad of divine protection. Their conscience, now a relentless prosecutor, haunts their sleepless nights. Their obsession with monitoring you reveals the cracks in their facade. Friends and family, once swayed, now demand answers. Professional allies turn away. The universe, with the precision of a cosmic mathematician, has turned their energetic debt against them, ensuring your elevation. You are not a victim, but a conqueror, forged in the fire of their malice. Their lies were the prelude to your truth, their opposition, the foundation of your greatest ascent. The cosmic forces have ensured that every sacrifice they made against you became an offering to your destiny. As their inquiries multiply and their web of deceit unravels, you stand radiant, protected, and unstoppable, ready for the extraordinary chapter ahead. And yet, beloved soul, the story does not end with their downfall. It begins anew with your rising. For while their energy collapses inward like a dying star, your spirit expands outward like a supernova, touching realms and lives they could never imagine. The very same voices that once whispered against you now whisper about you in awe. They speak not of scandal, but of resilience, not of shame, but of destiny. They marvel at how, after all the storms, you shine brighter than ever, carrying yourself with a grace they cannot counterfeit. You are no longer merely a survivor of their slander. You are the architect of a reality they cannot control, a living testament that divine alignment cannot be derailed by human schemes. Their greatest punishment is not external exposure, but the knowing realization that they wasted their divine assignment obsessing over yours. Every sleepless night, every fabricated text, every deceitful seed planted in fertile soil has returned to them 100-fold as thorns, pricking their peace, piercing their illusions. Their shadow campaigns only strengthened your light. Their fabrications only revealed the hunger for truth in those who heard them. The very tables they flipped in rage are now being set by God as banquets in your honor, and those who once sat in judgment are now spectators to a coronation they never wanted to witness. This season of revelation, family, is not about vengeance, it is about alignment. The universe wastes nothing, and even their attempts to destroy you became chisels in the divine sculptor's hand, shaping you into someone who cannot be swayed by opinion, broken by betrayal, or diminished by slander. Where they thought they were burying you, they were actually planting you. Where they thought they were isolating you, they were consecrating you. And where they thought they were silencing you, they were amplifying you in realms beyond their comprehension. Chosen one, understand this. The stress they now carry is a prophecy fulfilled. Their trembling hands, restless dreams, and fractured alliances are the echoes of divine justice rolling like thunder across the skies of their conscience. The more they run from accountability, the closer they draw it toward themselves. And as for you, every step forward is proof that the cosmic ledger has balanced in your favor. You have been tried in the fire, and you have emerged not only intact, but luminous. Mark this moment, for it is holy ground. The ashes of their deceit are becoming the soil of your expansion. The voices that condemned you will one day confess the truth of who you are. The communities they poisoned will seek you for healing. The doors they tried to close will multiply into gateways beyond your imagination. Their narrative has collapsed, but yours is just beginning to soar. And while they battle their own demons in the silence of regret, you walk hand in hand with destiny, adorned with the crown that cannot be taken, carrying the authority that cannot be revoked, and radiating the love that cannot be extinguished. So rise, chosen one. Rise not with arrogance, but with the quiet certainty that comes from surviving the fire and knowing who walks with you. Rise with compassion, for even those who sought your downfall are caught in the net of their own pain, desperate for a freedom they denied you. Rise with humility, because your elevation is not only for you, but for every soul whose hope depends on your endurance. And rise with power, for the universe has conspired in your favor. The divine has signed your vindication, and eternity itself rejoices at your emergence. The battle has turned, the narrative has shifted, the cosmic scales are balanced, and you, beloved, are not only free, but destined for realms their imagination could never reach. And yet, beloved soul, this was never merely about gossip, slander, or the collapse of reputations. What you have endured is a cosmic initiation, a sacred rite of passage, woven into your destiny long before you were born. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, chose to refine you through the fire of betrayal, through the sting of lies, through the loneliness of being misunderstood. For only through such a furnace could the impurities of doubt, fear, and attachment be burned away, leaving you as pure gold, untouchable, unshakable, and unbreakable. Understand this: you were never meant to fit into their fragile systems of control. You were never meant to bend under the weight of their expectations, nor to seek validation in their false crowns of approval. Their resistance was confirmation, not rejection, a spiritual stamp that you are not of this world's shallow order, but of a higher kingdom. In trying to erase you, they revealed you. In attempting to bury your name, they unknowingly planted you as a seed that would rise with roots deeper and branches wider than they could ever imagine. This is why their collapse feels so heavy, so accelerated, so relentless. They were not merely opposing a human being, they were opposing divine alignment, cosmic will, and universal law. And when anyone stands against the flow of such forces, their resistance becomes their undoing. You were not fighting them in the physical sense. You were aligned with a current so vast, so precise, so unstoppable that their own energy turned back on them the way waves crash against a rock and retreat in defeat. Every sleepless night they now endure, every uneasy glance, every shattered alliance is a manifestation of karmic law in action. But here is the greater truth. It was never about revenge. It was about revelation. The universe is using their downfall as a mirror to the collective, a warning that truth cannot be silenced, that light cannot be smothered, and that destiny cannot be delayed. Through their story, others are awakening to see what happens when ego wages war against spirit, when malice tries to masquerade as righteousness, when envy tries to sabotage divine assignment. Chosen one, your presence on this earth is a living prophecy. You are here to remind the world that no system of lies, no alliance of gossip, no network of sabotage can prevail against a soul that walks in divine alignment. You are proof that love outlasts hate, that purpose outshines pettiness, that integrity dismantles manipulation, and as the final fragments of their schemes dissolve into dust, you rise, not as a mere survivor, but as a sovereign soul entrusted with wisdom forged in fire, carrying the authority born of endurance and radiating an authenticity that no imitation can ever replicate. But this is only the dawn of what's to come. The collapse of their web marks the beginning of your expansion. Where they once closed doors, the universe now opens gates. Where they once spread falsehoods, truth now flows like living water, restoring and renewing every space you enter. Where they once tried to silence your voice, your words now echo with the weight of lifetimes, awakening those who are ready to listen. The very stage they sought to keep from you has been prepared in secret, and soon the curtains will rise on a chapter so radiant that even your adversaries will have no choice but to bear witness. Their downfall is not your victory alone. It is a message to every silent observer, every doubtful soul, every heart hesitating at the edge of faith. A reminder that the universe protects its chosen with divine precision. You were never abandoned, never overlooked. You were being refined, prepared for this very moment in time. Now, as you stand in the heart of this sacred unfolding, remember, your rise is not just for you. You rise for every silenced voice, every dimmed light, every mocked purpose. You are living proof that once destiny awakens, nothing and no one can halt its course. Family, if this message has stirred something within you, I invite you to take a step of faith. Support this mission by joining the community or sowing into the work we are creating together. Whether it's a single dollar or whatever your heart feels led to give, know that your generosity is more than support. It's a seed planted in eternity. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every act of light helps this message reach the ones who need it most.